Hey Capricorn, welcome to your weekly forecast for June 13th through the 19th. At least we're setting the intention for the 13th through the 19th. However, you might see this video weeks or months or years after that. So basically, you're going to find the video whenever you're meant to find the video, even if it's long after. Just take the messages that resonate. Leave the ones that don't. Remind yourself this is a general reading for the collective. Not every message will resonate. Take what does, leave what doesn't. And you might want to check out your moon sign, your rising sign. Sometimes your moon sign or rising sign resonates more than your sun sign. But we're going to get right on in here, my dear Capricorn friends, and see what's coming up for you all. Move you just a little bit closer. So the first card coming up here is the moon. Now, astrologically speaking, the moon card could signify that you may be dealing with a Pisces or a Cancer. If you have Pisces or Cancer placements, there can be big changes or big shifts happening for you in those areas of your life. This card also came up for Scorpio. And there's no astrological connection for Scorpio as far as the moon is concerned. But because it came up for them, if you have a Scorpio placement, I would definitely say check out the Scorpio reading this week. And some of you could be dealing with a Scorpio because they also had the same card coming up. Now, this is a major arcana card. Anytime the major arcana cards come up, we're dealing with a significant new chapter in our life. It's a defining moment. The things that we're experiencing are directly connected to what we came here to experience, what we came here to master, what we came here to learn. So they're big crossroads. The moon card is very much about embracing our intuition, even our own psychic gifts and abilities. And it's a card about like things that have been repressed that begin to come up to the surface. So Capricorn, some of you might be facing some issues that maybe you all have not had a chance to talk about. Maybe this is like some things are coming to the surface and it's time to talk about it. It's time to clear the air, even though that might not be a traditional meaning of the moon card. That's the feeling and the vibe I'm feeling here for some of you is that as things are coming to the surface, there may be things that you're wanting to address. So it's kind of like the side effect of things being uncovered. Maybe that some of you are wanting to address some things or to talk about some things. Some of you may have some repressed memories coming up or remembering things that you stored away and you forced yourself not to think about for a long time. There could be things coming up around childhood. But all of this is around your release, your clearing, coming into your intuition. People ask me all the time, Amethyst, how can I strengthen my psychic gifts and abilities? How can I be more intuitive? How can I hear my messages? The truth of it is that a lot of it comes very naturally once we do our healing work and once we do our clearing. Your intuition increases drastically through that process. And that's why this moon card has those meanings attached to it. Intuition, but also things being uncovered, things coming to the surface. Some of you might be really, really feeling very intensely the vibes and the energies that came in when we had the eclipse of the full moon in Scorpio a little while ago. That energy is going to be around the next 6 months. Some of you may really be feeling that energy and you may be taking that eclipsed Scorpio energy to do some soul searching, to do some digging, to do some really, really major shadow work. I feel that vibe here for some of you Scorpios. But overall, this is learning to trust your intuition and addressing things that have been uncovered for some time. I'm going to say something here, Capricorn, and it's kind of an intense message, and I'm not trying to be dramatic, okay? A lot of people have already been in this energy for some time, and I think it's going to be coming up more and more for the rest of every single person on this planet, if they haven't already experienced it. There are a lot of energies that are coming in right now into the planet, like galactically, energetically, right? If you want to call it coming into the 5D, the new renaissance, ascension, rapture, whatever you want to call it, it's all coming in. It's all going down. And so in this process, Capricorn, we each have to choose which side we're going to be on, okay? Now, that being said, I know a lot of people say, "Oh, well, you can't have dark without the light," and essentially we have both of them. But there's dark and then there's dark. And so, Capricorn, for some of you, as these things are coming to the surface, there may be some anger, there may be some resentment, there may be some just like, "Hey, that's not fair," as like you're going through the shadow work. And some of you are going to have to make a decision. Are you going to choose to release and heal and come into the light? Or are you going to allow it to harden you and turn towards the darker energy? I feel that this is a time, Capricorn, that many of you are going to have to decide. You're going to have to choose between the light and the dark, and how you're choosing to come into your gifts and into your abilities. I know it happened for me at key points in my life when I began to connect with my intuition and my gifts. It's like it was both there. Like, are you going to go with the angel or are you going to go with the demon? Like, you have to choose at some point. I can't tell you what to choose. I think it's very obvious what you all would know. I would hope for you to choose. But at the end of the day, we all have free will and we have to make this choice ourselves. And I feel some of you, it's like you're at this crossroads. Are you going to allow everything that has happened till now to harden your heart? Or are you going to come into a time of healing and release and ascension? Next card that's coming up here for you all is the Queen of Swords. This could be an air sign person or somebody who has air sign, sun, moon, or sun, moon, rising, maybe even Venus. So air signs are going to be Aquarius, Gemini, or Libra. Queen of Swords can be energy that you're stepping into as things are coming to the surface, as you're coming into your healing. The Queen of Swords is the master of boundaries, right? She's not going to suffer foolishness. And so some of you might be very clear on what you're wanting and what you're working towards, and you're no longer making yourself available for anyone who's taking you away from that, right? You're like, either you're headed where I'm headed and you're helping me make this happen, or you need to leave me alone, right? And if you're refusing to leave me alone, then I have no issue, no problem cutting you out. Some of you may be in this energy, right? Where you're very focused and you just do not have the time or patience for any kind of distraction, any kind of sabotage, whether it's deliberate or not. You're like, I cannot deal with anybody or anything that's taking me off my course right now. So some of you may be setting down some major significant boundaries. If you are uncovering things with a person, if you are in the energy of like addressing things that are coming to the surface, the person you're dealing with may have a very logical approach. They might not be overly emotional about it. It could even be something that maybe they've already processed, like they already remembered it a long time ago. And so you may be like, why is this person like not treating this like more of a big deal? It's not that it's not a big deal for them. They already remembered it. They already did the work. They already processed it. So if you're expecting for somebody to be like shocked or like come in with the energy of trauma bonding, this is not someone who's going to trauma bond. That doesn't mean that they don't care about you. That doesn't mean that they don't take the situation seriously. It just means that they've been able to come into a neutral place about it. And you may say, well, if you remembered this, how come you never brought it up to me? This person knew. Or if they were going to therapy, the therapist told them, maybe this is not a good thing to bring up with Capricorn. It might be too shocking for them. There could have been something that came up that the therapist said, don't uncover this for Capricorn. So don't feel betrayed. Like if you're going to someone and saying, hey, I had this memory. Do you remember something like this? And they're like, oh, yeah, totally. And you might be like, what? Like, why in the world would you not bring it to me? It wasn't out of like uh, uh, a disconcern for you. If anything, it was like, they didn't want to shock you. They didn't want to shock you. They didn't like, because sometimes some things we wish we didn't remember. And so maybe they just didn't want to be that person who comes in and says, oh, hey, Capricorn, by the way, let me tell you, what, like maybe they just felt like, let you remember if and when you remember. So don't take offense to it. Don't be hurt by it. I feel it was more like a way of trying to keep peace and trying not to disrupt you or create waves, so to speak. So someone in this situation may have a very logical approach. Logic does not mean that there's no care. They're just maybe because they've processed it and this is how they've had to learn how to get through life. The next card that's coming up here for you all, Capricorn, is the King of Wands. If you have a fire sign placement, Aries, Sagittarius, or Leo, you may be focusing on those areas of your life or on those houses. You may be coming into the characteristics and qualities of the King of Wands or meeting a King of Wands type person. The thing about the King of Wands is the King of Wands is a self-made man, right? This is someone that rose to power through their hard work, through their gifts, through their endeavors, through their problem solving and finding solutions. This is not someone who was born into royalty. This is someone who was appointed by the people. Like King of Wands, we need you. We need somebody like you. You're figuring it out. You're making it happen. We need someone like you to take the lead and to show us the way. That's the kind of quality, personality, characteristic, leadership of the King of Wands. This is someone who had nobody to show him anything, and he figured it out and he found the way. So some of you may be coming into this energy where you're like, you know what? Life didn't give me the best tools here, but I'm figuring it out and I'm making things happen and I'm going to be successful. Whatever your definition of success may be, you're coming into that and you're seeing solutions. You're finding creative solutions. You may even be tapping into your own creativity. As we heal, we become more creative because creativity is linked with intuition. King of Wands is very go-getter energy. Okay, also the kind of person who wants to pay their blessings forward. Okay, so you may be thinking of philanthropy. You may be feeling called or led as a part of your healing to use your gifts or talents or abilities in a way where you're helping your community or you're helping a certain demographic of people that you feel near and dear to your heart. This could be somebody coming in and kind of mentoring you. For some of you, somebody who's been down a similar road or similar path. Because the King of Wands will do that. The King of Wands will like see himself and be like, man, that person really reminds me of when I was younger or when I was in that situation, and they may want to kind of take you under their wing and show you the way. So there could be somebody here that maybe is mentoring you in terms of your career or your work in some way. Now, the next card coming up here for you all, wow, it got all blurry all of a sudden. Next card coming up here for you all is the Three of Swords. Now, the Three of Swords comes up when we're coming into a time of release. And so some of you may be remembering situations or things coming to the surface because we have the moon card here and these other cards are here. I feel whatever this Three of Swords energy is, Capricorn, I feel like it's already happened. I don't feel like something is happening this week that's going to devastate you or break your heart or make you feel betrayed. I feel there are memories that are coming up where you are feeling and processing things that already happened in the past. That maybe when they happened, you didn't have the ability or the tools to deal with them. And now they're coming to the surface because you're ready to deal with them. You're ready to release them. And the Three of Swords can indicate here some kind of betrayal. Now, I'm getting a very specific message here from this card, or a very specific energy from this card, that I don't typically get. One thing that I do want to say as a reassurance, and I still do feel it in this aspect for you guys here in the week ahead. Some of you have heard me say this. The Three of Swords is pretty intense emotion, but the good thing about it is it doesn't last a very long time. We're not talking about like weeks and weeks or months and months of like sadness or grieving. Usually it's like we have one intense, big emotional burst, or a big intense cry, and we feel relieved, like oh God, it's good to get it out, right? And then like we feel recovered. So it's an intense emotion, but the way that I see it happening a lot of the time is that there's a quick recovery. And you've heard me give the example before. It reminds me of when I used to teach preschool, and the little kids would be running around and playing, and one would fall and get hurt, and they'd be screaming and crying like it was the end of the world. The emotion was true, it was sincere. But you give them a band-aid, you give them an ice pack, you give them a little hug, and like a minute and a half later, like in 90 seconds, it's like it didn't even happen. They're running off and they're playing again. They're Paw Patrol or a T-Rex or whatever they were pretending to be. It's like it didn't even happen. And so, yes, these emotions are going to be intense, but the Three of Swords indicates a quick release. The thing that is coming in that feels different for me in this case, Capricorn, is I feel, do you see the way this person has, I don't know if it's a she or a he, but this person has their face in their hands? That's really jumping out at me. So this makes me feel like as you're remembering things, you're feeling a sense of shame or a sense of embarrassment. Okay? But I feel like the message here is like in the main lesson here for you is to release that and to not feel ashamed, to not feel embarrassed, because whatever's coming to the surface, maybe you have no shame whatsoever in that you were totally innocent in the situation, but the person or the people involved made you feel like there was something wrong with you or you were bad. And so this is coming up for you to be able to process that and release it and say, no, I'm not bad. I'm not the one who should be ashamed. They're the ones who should be ashamed. Another aspect might be that in this memory, some of you may be remembering certain things that happened, and you may remember like that you did certain things, right? You did certain things, and you're very embarrassed or very ashamed that I can't believe I did such a thing. But this is the thing, right? Whatever we do it because we were exposed to it at some point, right? Like somebody put you through that first, and then maybe you didn't know, or your way of processing it was to mimic the behavior. So even in that sense, you shouldn't be ashamed of yourself because you didn't know, you were confused by whatever happened, you were trying to figure it out, and you repeated or you copied an unacceptable behavior, but you didn't know that it was unacceptable, right? We don't know that something is okay or not okay. We only know what we experience. So I feel whatever's coming to the surface here, Capricorn, a lot of this is also going to be about releasing shame, not feeling ashamed about yourself, not feeling embarrassed, not judging yourself or blaming yourself, but reminding yourself that you only did what you knew and you only knew what you were shown, and you did the best you could with the tools that you had. Now that you're awakening, you're going to have better tools, and you're going to do big things here with this Queen of Swords energy, this King of Wands energy. But first, you need to allow yourself to release all of the heavy things that have been pushed down for so long, and to release this feeling of shame. You have nothing to be ashamed of. And once you have this release, I feel this is the big thing that maybe for a lot of you has been blocking you or slowing you down. And sometimes we get frustrated. We're like, dang it, like, why can't these blocks be removed? Or why can't I just be done with this healing? And for a lot of you, this has been a slow building up to this point. This is the thing. Your angels and guides want to heal you in a way that's not going to shock you. And sometimes we can ask and we can just say, please angels, please guides, please God, please universe, whatever is in here that needs to be cleared, help me get it out in one big push. Sometimes we can do that, but some things need to happen gradually. And I feel like a lot of you have been going through a long gradual release, and now here it's coming to the climax of it. And it will be intense. But once you get it out of your system, you're going to feel so much lighter, and you're going to see things are flowing and happening much more quickly. You may want to check out your moon sign and rising sign. Some weeks those might resonate more than your sun sign. You may need a private reading. If you want to schedule with me, there's a link in the description of the video that will take you to my scheduling page, calendly.com/amethystangelite, and you can schedule a private reading with me there. Love readings for June are linked in the description of the video, and every single day I pull a daily message if you all want to check that out. I thank you all for watching, liking, sharing, commenting, subscribing. I hope you all have a fabulous week ahead. Take care and be well, my dears.